Hey everybody, welcome back to the IHC Craft Room. Happy New Year 2026. It is New Year's Day and I'm about to make myself my first ever New Year's themed wreath. So we're going to do that using the vast majority of this stuff. And this year I decided to try to use some paper plates. I've done this before. We're going to pick which one we like and use that as the center of our wreath. And so that's the plan for today. So if you're going to craft with me, grab your stuff. And this is actually live number 30 of the Holiday How-To series. It's the last live of that series, but don't worry, we're going to keep making wreaths. Next week will be part of the Sweetheart Season series, which is the Valentine's Day live series that's going to be running until Valentine's Day. But that's next week. For now, we're going to do this. I'm very excited. So I'm going to clear off this area. I just wanted to show you what we had going on over here. And we're going to get started with the base of the wreath first. Actually, first let me talk about this because I need to make a decision and it's better that I make it right off the bat. My intention is to do a bubble base wreath. So that means we're going to have big poofs all the way around and it's going to be a very full base wreath. So I'm going to be using one of these and I feel like I'm leaning towards the one in my left hand, this one here. I like all of the fireworks and stuff. Now you can see that it's just barely small. Like it doesn't exactly overlap my last ring, but it doesn't need to because like I said, the bubble, like the poof is going to be significant. So I don't really think we need to worry about that. I think I can just put pipe cleaners on the back of this and strap it in afterwards. And I think it should work. But just in case it doesn't, I do have some foam board from the dollar store. I pick these up every once in a while and use them for a bunch of different projects. And if necessary, I will like cut out a round that's, you know, something I could glue to the back of this frame. But I don't think it's going to be necessary. I think we'll be able to just use the plate. Now they are kind of flimsy though. These are those like, you know, these are the pretty plates from the dollar store. So they're not going to be strong plates. I may actually use just one or I may glue a couple together to make it a little bit more chunky. Haven't decided, but we'll decide that when we're done making the bubble wreath. But I think I am leaning towards this one. But I'd love to know what you think. If you're watching live right now, let me know your vote in the chat. Which one do you like better? The one with stars or the one with fireworks? Because I'm leaning towards fireworks right now. And if you're watching in the replay, I'd still love to know in the comments. So feel free to mention it there. Okay, I'm going to put these aside for now. Yeah, because we can make the sign in between the base and our ribbon bundles. Because we are going to be using some ribbon bundles today instead of a bow. Because it'll be the bubble bases are so full that I always really love to use ribbon bundles instead. So we're going to make a stunning wreath. I'm very excited. Okay, so let's start off by talking about this base a little bit. We're going to do a little bit of Deco mesh math. This is a 14-inch wire wreath frame. It has 6 sections, and we're going to be aiming for 4 bubbles per section, and each of those bubbles will be 8 inches in length. And I'll show you what that means as we're working, but they're going to be 8 inches in length, and then we're going to be using one color of Deco mesh today, and we're going to need about 6 rolls in total. I won't use all 6. But since we're using 3 at a time, we'll definitely consume this whole set. And then I'll need to add a little with some additional rolls of Deco mesh. But that's what we're going to be doing for the base of our wreath today. So we're going to get started with that. And the number one thing you need to know about making bubbles for the bubble wreath is you're going to need a ruler. Here comes my pretty glittery pink ruler. And you're going to need 3 rolls of Deco mesh, and we are going to stack them one on top of the other in order to start our base. The way we need to do that, the first thing we need to talk about is the roll of your Deco mesh. You see how it's rolling over the roll as opposed to rolling under the roll. Think of like a toilet paper roll. You want it to roll over the roll like this. And that's because it's going to give you a better bubble because it's already in that shape because of the roll, right? So we're going to make sure that we put it with over the roll, flat down, just like that. I'm going to use a paperweight to help me with this. Okay, and then the second one, we're going to do the exact same thing. Roll it out, flatten it out. And then the third one, same thing, right on top of each other. Beautiful. We're not going to be needing any scissors for this. This is a no-cut method. So Deco mesh is very much known for its flyaways, all these little pieces that kind of like come off the ends. So this is a method that you can use, Deco mesh, where you're not going to be cutting it, so you're not going to get a ton of those little flyaways. That's why it's considered a no-cut method, because you really don't cut it until the very, very end. So we are going to need some pipe cleaners, though. You could totally use zip ties instead if you prefer. It's a personal preference thing. You won't be able to see what you use because the bubbles will be so large that it won't be visible in between anyway. But I do enjoy, I enjoy both actually. I've used pipe cleaners and I've used zip ties. So either is fine. But I'm going to fold these in half and I'm going to cut them because we don't need them super long. And like I said, you're not going to be able to see them anyway. Plus they're white, like not a problem. It is not a problem. I don't know how I think I'm going to cut all of these at the same time with my weak hands. Oh, hey, girl. I'm like the Hulk. Okay. I highly recommend you get your pipe cleaners ready ahead of time because once you get bubbling, you don't want to be dealing with that. So the first thing we need is we're going to grab one of our pipe cleaners and our ruler. And what we're going to do is we want to get to about 2 inches from the end. So right around here. And we are going to scrunch. We're going to scrunch this all together and grab it in one hand, just like that. Okay. And then we are going to attach this to this crossbar. I'm going to be attaching all of my bubbles to the 2 center rings. Okay. You don't need to do both rings. You could just do one. I'm sure that would be fine. But I've gotten used to doing 2 rings and I feel like it keeps the bubble more situated in the middle, but totally up to you. But we're going to go ahead and slide under both of those and across that crossbar. You can see where I've put my pipe cleaner and I'll just lay this right in the middle and we're going to tie our pipe cleaner with a few good twists. Hi, Tony. Welcome and Happy New Year. All right. Now, like I said, I'm going to actually leave these sticking up like this. You can see how long they are. You're not going to be able to see them, but you could totally trim these off if you like. Now that we've tied it on, we're good to go, but totally a personal preference thing. So what I'm going to do with this piece is I'm just going to tuck it in between the 2 rings and push it towards the back of our wreath. For right now, it's not a big deal. When we get towards the end, we'll deal with the way the back looks. But for now, we're just going to focus on making our bubbles. Okay, so now that we've got the Deco mesh secured to the wreath frame, what we're going to do is start our first bubble. So I'm going to roll this out. And this is basically the movement we're going to make for the entire wreath. We're aiming for 4 bubbles per section. And as I mentioned, we want them to be 8 inches. So I'm going to place my ruler up against where we've tied it to the frame. And we're at the 8-inch mark right here. And I'm going to scrunch just like we did at the beginning and just gather it together. I've got it between my 2 fingers again, just like that. And I'm going to take my pipe cleaner. And now what we're going to do is push this together like this. And we just made our bubble, just like that. Beep. Now this is why the curve of the Deco mesh matters, because it's giving such a beautiful poof, right? And I didn't have to do anything special. I've just made my first bubble. So I'm gonna go ahead and slide my pipe cleaner between these two rings, these two inner rings, underneath, just like that. Gonna be difficult? That's not nice. And I'm gonna go and tie. Oh, this pipe cleaner is being very rogue. I'm gonna tie this down. A couple of good twists will do just fine. I have an over twisting problem, so I tend to twist way more than necessary, but 2 will do you fine. And there you go. We just made our first bubble. Beautiful. It's nice and big and poofy, which is exactly what we want. So I'm just gonna push it closed so that it's more concise, and we're gonna go ahead and make our other 3 bubbles that are gonna be part of this section, because remember, we're aiming for 4 bubbles per section. Straighten that out, flatten these guys out. We want the Deco mesh to be the same. You don't want one to be really long in the back or something, because that way your bubble will be very even. So same thing. We're gonna go look for the 8-inch mark. Scrunch, 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 scrunch. And here we go. I think this is probably the part that I find the most time consuming or frustrating, depends on how you look at it, is getting the pipe cleaner to go in between the rings. Sometimes it's just like, nah, let's party for a bit. We'll dance. I'll make you work for it, Mary. Well, you're lucky we're on a live right now, pipe cleaner. I'd be giving you the finger. Just saying. All right. But I don't want to get banned, so it's your lucky day. Now, if you don't have a beautiful art stone like this one, I mean, a pair of scissors or anything to kind of hold them in place would be perfectly acceptable. Or you could make yourself a beautiful heart art stone like this one. I dot painted this last Valentine's Day. It was a really fun project. I really enjoyed it. And Mary from the future is going to link that video up in the corner. Let me point right here if you're watching the replay. And you can check it out. It's a really fun project. I really enjoyed making it. All right, we've got 3 big, beautiful bubbles. So on this 4th one now, since it's going to be the last one for this section, I'm going to actually thread my pipe cleaner across that crossbar like we did when we first tied it on. So it's not necessary. You don't need to use the crossbars at all. The only reason I'm using it is because I feel like it secures the bubbles into that one section, and it'll keep me from accidentally pushing more than I want in an area. But it's a personal preference thing. I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. Okay, so we're lined up. Here's 8 inches. Scrunch, scrunch, scrunch. And I'm going to, so you can see right there. I'm going to put this just like so. Come on. Yeah. We got there in the end. And I'm going to tie this down to the crossbar and those 2 inner rings. But you see how it doesn't need to be both inner rings. You can't see the rings. That's the point of the bubble. Like it's gonna totally cover this really beautifully. There you go. We made one section. We've got our 4 bubbles. Nice. You see how full it is? Wait till we fluff it out and stuff. It's going to be even bigger. Okay. And here's the funny part about it. Like when you're using Deco mesh in this method, if you're using all the same color, it really doesn't matter. But if you're using 3 different colors or 2 different colors, whatever Deco mesh you put on the top of these 3, the last one, that's going to be the most dominant color that you're going to see. So keep that in mind if you decide to mix the colors of your Deco mesh when you're making a bubble wreath, that the top roll of Deco mesh is the one that's going to be the most visible. But since we're using all the same color, it doesn't really matter for this one. because surprise, it's all going to be white. Okay, so that's one. I really enjoyed this bubble method. It's one of my favorite go-tos because it's so incredibly fast. The last method I used to use with Deco Mesh was a lot more time consuming. I would be making Deco Mesh bundles. And that's not to say I'm never going to do that again. But when I say time consuming, I mean it is time consuming. And this is a really great way to get a very full base in a really short amount of time. Okay. So we are on bubble number 2, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's my crossbar. So that's 1. So this is bubble number 2 from section 2. Okay. I just want to keep track of it. Is it the end of the world if one of the sections get 5 or 6 bubbles instead of 4? No. No one's going to know that but you. I highly doubt it's going to be noticeable. But I'm weird and I have to make sure because I won't be happy if they're uneven. But if you're cool with it, you have Mary's seal of approval to go for it. Whatever makes you happy. I like to keep it chill here at the IHC Craft Room. All right, bubble number 3. The other reason I really enjoy this method is because it's super beginner friendly. Once you get this, you know, roll out and measure 8 inches and bubble, it's like you just fly through it. You just fly through it. Okay, so this is going to be bubble number 4 of this section. So I am going to attach it to my crossbar again. My Deco Mesh is kind of flipping in on itself a little bit over here. So I would keep an eye on that if it happens to you. Going across that crossbar. That actually was much easier. Thank you, pipe cleaner, for not being difficult like your friend. Okay. Beautiful. 2 sections already done. What are we, like 20 minutes in? It is such a fast method. I really enjoy this. And again, it gives you the opportunity to use so many colors too. Like you can really be creative with the way you want the base to look. Okay. And also all of this is flexible, right? Like I like 4 bubbles per section, but when I learned how to make this wreath, I'm pretty sure the creator who I watched make it did something like 5 or 6 bubbles per section. So it's really a personal preference thing, whatever you prefer. Holly, you just don't want to. All right, there you go. We can be friends. So it's really a personal preference thing, however many bubbles you want in each one, how big you want the bubbles to be. I do 8 inches because I feel like it gives you a really nice shape. Like I can fit my whole hand in here easily, but it's not crazy excessive. But it gives you a lot of volume. So you could do, I guess you could do 6. Maybe I should try that one day to make them smaller bubbles. It might be fun to see how that looks. But for today, we're doing 8 inches in length and then 4 bubbles per section. You see what I meant about the pipe cleaners? You can't see them, right? And I haven't even done anything to make the base look presentable. When we're done, we're going to fluff out all the bubbles and stuff and make sure you can't see the base wreath at all, the frame. Okay, so this is bubble number 2. Scrunch. All right. think the number one thing I had to get used to when I first started making these wreaths, these bubble wreaths, is that you're basically pulling this with you with every movement that you're making, which feels strange. Like you feel like it should just stay where it's going and you should be able to do what you're doing, but no, that's not how it goes. All right, we are on bubble number 4, which is going to be the last one for this section. So again, I'm going to go ahead and attach that to the crossbar. And this is going to take us to the halfway mark of our wreath. And you can see how full it is already. Okay. Beautiful. Look at that. Huge, right? It's very poof. Le poof. We are getting to the end of these rolls. Not yet. I probably can get another section or 2 done. But we're going to be preparing to move on to another set shortly, I think. I'm going to grab a sip of water because I've been doing a lot of yapping. Very refreshing. Never forget to hydrate, friends. You'd be surprised how much your life improves when you are not dehydrated. Okay. This one's really ready to run away. This Deco mesh piece on top is getting a little rowdy. It's folded at the bottom here. I don't know if that's going to matter. We'll see. Okay, so this is the first bubble we just did. So now we're on bubble 2. I'm running low on pipe cleaners. I'm going to have to stop to cut some. Yeah, that's good. Okay, that's going to be my last pipe cleaner. Okay, so that was bubble number 3. So we're about to do the last one for this section. And I definitely need to cut. Okay, I'm almost at the end of these rolls for sure. Wow, that is a really crazy one. Get it together, man. Holy. That one's going to be a nightmare when I have to thread it between the rings. Oh, well. All right. Okay, so this is the last one for this section. So crossbar. We shall have that jewel. Oh, you're going to be like that, eh? Okay. There we go. Okay. Beautiful. We have 2 sections left to bubble. And we are definitely not going to make it there with these rolls. This is what I meant by we're going to definitely consume these full 3 rolls of Deco mesh, but we're not going to need another full 3 rolls for the remaining bit. We'll use a bit, but we won't be using a full 3 rolls. But you absolutely will need more. Like there's no way to get away with just doing 3 rolls. I mean, I don't know, actually, now that I'm saying that. Maybe if you did smaller bubbles and maybe less bubbles, that might be a way to preserve some of the Deco mesh. If you only had 3 rolls. I don't know. I've never actually tried to stay within those 3 rolls. It might be fun to do that as a challenge. Dude. No, it would probably be in my best interest if I bent these in a curved way. It might be easier to not get stuck. So that's 2. We're going to get 1 more out of these rolls. I'm not even going to cut them off of the roll. Well, this one wants to be. Actually, I don't know if I'll get to. No, you guys are already done. This guy's too short. Okay, so I'm just going to cut the end off of the rolls. Okay, these guys, thank you so much for your assistance. Toodaloo. And now I'm going to take this tail that we just tied on, or we just created by cutting the Deco mesh, and I'm going to tuck it in between those 2 inner rings that we've been using, just like that. We're going to clean up all of these ends later. So the end from the beginning and this one here, these are 2 ends. We'll clean these up later so that the back is flat and easier to place when you're hanging something. But for now, they're fine to sit up like this. And we're going to now prepare the other 3 rolls of Deco mesh because we need them for that last bit of this section and that whole section. So I thought these, I know for sure that these ones that I'm unwrapping right now, I got from Dollar Tree because of the wrapping on them. The Floral Garden, that is a Dollar Tree brand. But the ones I used before might have been Dollarama. I have no idea. As long as they look the same, it's fine. I generally almost always, I open that like a savage. I generally, 99% of the time, I get my Deco mesh from dollar stores. These days, it's almost always Dollar Tree. I rarely find Deco mesh at Dollarama. But when I do, I snap it up. Okay, so we're going to prepare these Deco mesh rolls the same way we did the first time. So again, we're going to make note of which way it's rolling on the roll. So this is under, and we actually want it to be rolling over like this so we can get a nice poofy bubble. So this one is positioned correctly. We're going to stack them directly on top of each other. Okay. Beautiful. Okay, I don't need you anymore. All right, so in order to secure this to our wreath base, we're gonna need to grab the end and get that set. So we're gonna do roughly 2 inches, okay? I just generally eyeball it. You want enough so that you can do that tail. So I'm gonna go from around here and we're just gonna scrunch, get them all together. I've got them pinched between my finger just like that. And now I'm going to attach this. I would have liked to use this crossbar, but I still have 2 bubbles to put into this section. So we're just going to grin and bear it. It's fine. The crossbar is not necessary. It's just something I prefer. I'll slide this pipe cleaner underneath the 2 inner rings and out the other side. Just like that. And we're going to attach this end there and secure it with a couple of twists of the pipe cleaner. Yes, that was a couple. Just in case you saw 4, it was really only 2 twists. And then I just tucked the, sorry, I didn't even say what I did. I tucked the ends in between those 2 rings again, you see? Didn't want to let me flip it because they're too tight. But anyway, I've tucked the ends underneath. We will deal with them later. But for now, we've got our Deco mesh back ready to rumble. Or ready to bubble, rather. All right. So we've got them all straightened out again. And what we're going to do is get to that pipe cleaner where we attached it to the base. And from there, we want 8 inches. And we're going to scrunch. And then pop it up just like that. And I'm going to use my pipe cleaner to go, oh wait, is this bubble number 3 on this section? This is number 3. Yeah, okay. So I'm just going to go under the 2. No, didn't I say I was going to bend this to make it easier for myself? Let's see if that works. Yeah, it totally did. I'll do that again. And we're just going to secure that down with a few good twists. Beautiful. Now, tell me, can you tell that we ended a roll and started a roll? No, you won't be able to see that. That gap between them, you'll never see that again. It'll disappear. You won't even know where it is. But this is going to be now, this bubble that we're about to create will be bubble number 4 for that last, or rather second last section. And we'll have 1 section left and then we'll be done our base, which means I need to turn on my glue gun. Because I'm going to need it. But did I think to fix my pipe cleaner first? No, I didn't. Okay. Now this one I'm going to use the crossbar. So I'm going to hook it or slide it under. I should have bent it a little lower. Across that crossbar and secure this down. Only because I like using the crossbar. It's really not a big deal. All right. Look at that. We've got 1 section left. It's been about 30 minutes because I yapped a little bit at the beginning. Who, me? I don't yap. I don't know what you're talking about. It wasn't me. But easily this has only been a half an hour to make this base, which is lightning fast. I'm like the Flash over here. Let's get this pipe cleaner ready. I'm going to kink you right around here. See how that goes. Okay, so this is bundle number 1. Boy, did that work. Wow, that was so fast. How did I never think of doing that before? Oh, boy. Well, I thought of it now, and that's what matters. Better late than never. Okay, so that was bubble number 1. Remember, we're aiming for 4 per section, which is going to be a challenge as we get to these last few because of how full this is. But we're up for the challenge. We got this. We got this. Scrunch, scrunch, scrunch. All right. Man, bending that was such a smart idea. Ugh, I wish I thought of it sooner. Okay, that's 2. And we're going to go 8 inches again from where we attached it. We're going to scrunch, and then we're going to poof. All right, this is where the challenge starts to happen because I'm fighting against a few things now. The tail of the Deco mesh underneath the frame, the original bubble that we started with, the bubble I'm in the middle of creating. There's a lot going on over here, kids. But we got this. All right. Okay. We are on our last bubble. Final. Okay, I'm only going to need 1 more of these for now. All right, here we go. This is where you got to do all the pushing and the shoving. You guys need to move out of the way a little bit. You're getting in my... Okay, here we go. What am I doing? Holy, why is this so difficult? All right, there we got it. Woo! Santa Maria, that took 7 hours. I told you it was going to be a struggle, but I also told you we would persevere, and we did. Woo! All right, we are officially done. That is all the bubbles we needed for this section. So I'm going to cut my Deco mesh free because I don't need these anymore. And I'll show you how much is left on these rolls before I move them out. Quite a lot. I'd say we used probably about half the roll. That can't be right. If I did almost the entire wreath with the other ones, that can't be right. Anyway, it doesn't matter. All right, so what we're going to do now is take these ends and tuck them in between the 2 inner rings, like we did with all of the other ends we've had, just like that. And then we're going to flip this over, and you can see all of the ends that we have now are all sticking through, and they're out of the way. So what I want to do to make this a little bit easier to deal with is I'm going to attach them together, which you don't need to do. You could totally just cut them, but I like having them attached together first because then they're just besties for life, or until this pipe cleaner fails. And now that I have them really well connected, I'm going to cut off all of this excess. I don't know if you can see how much that is. I'm going to cut it down really low. Give it like a little mohawk. Just a little boop, boop, boop. That's all that's left. So this should sit pretty flat against, because the piece that's sticking out is in the concave part of the wreath frame. So hopefully that will allow this to sit pretty flat against a door, or if you're hanging this on a wall or something. Okay, connect these together. And then we're going to cut this down as well. Ay, yeah, mama, that hurts. Oy. All right. Beautiful. So now we have a really clean back to our wreath, which is lovely, and it'll be easier to leave it nice and flat. All right. So our base is ready, but we need to now fluff it out. So I'm going to interject my little friend a finger protector because it's nice and vibrantly colored. I take a little sip of water. Oh man, so thirsty. Okay. So I'm going to use this to help me recognize where the beginning and the end of this is. So I'm going to pick any spot right here. And this is where I'm going to start fluffing. So I'll always know that I started here. And this is what we're going to do. I'm going to pull, we have the 3 pieces of Deco mesh. The top piece, the one that you can see across the top, is going to stay in the center. And then the 2 underlying pieces, we're going to pull one under out like this and one up out like that and fan that bubble out just like that. Okay, so again, now because these are all the same color, if you happen to grab the top bubble and pull that instead, I don't really think it's going to matter. But when you have a specific color on top, like you wanted to have the white on top, then you got to make sure you're pulling those other colors from underneath. But really, you just want to open these up. These are stuck to each other. And that's the other reason why we're opening these up. Deco mesh is a beautiful, vibrant material, but it loves itself. It clings to itself like, oh, darling, darling, how do I love thee? It's got really good self-esteem. So all we're really trying to do here is open up the bubbles, cover up the frame, like the wreath frame. You know, in the end, we want to, I mean, if you get a little bit peeking out, no one's going to arrest you. But that's ultimately what we're trying to do is cover the base of the wreath, open up the bubbles a little bit. But you won't be seeing this base as much as you see it right now. By the time we put in our ribbon bundles, it's going to completely transform. Okay, where are we? See, this is where we started. So can you see the difference between this half that I've spread out versus this half that's still a little, you know? It's subtle, but it does make a difference between, you know, a poofy full base as versus, you know, a too condensed base. All right, we're coming up on the end. These are the last 2 bubbles. Okay. And I never would have known that this is where I started if I hadn't put this in here. So I highly recommend you put something. All right. Move this out of the way. Big and floofy and puffy and very full. And we fully completed this base in just under 45 minutes, which is hella fast if you ask me. It's just such a quick method. So now that we have our base ready, I'm going to move this aside because we're going to move on to getting the center or sign. Usually I would use, I'm going to use a different colored pipe cleaner for our sign because, again, we want to be able to, whenever we're adjusting things on the back of our wreath, when we start setting this up later, when we have all of our pieces together and we start putting it together, when it's flipped over, we'll be able to tell which component is which because of the color of the pipe cleaner. We know that white is the Deco mesh. So next we're going to, I think we're going to use gold for this. No, I'm going to use silver. I'm only going to need 4 pipe cleaners. Now this is a bit of a non-traditional item to use for the sign. These are paper plates from the dollar store, which is a great way to get yourself a seasonal sign when there is none. Because they don't have New Year's signs like they do for Christmas and Valentine's Day at the dollar store. They have, like, you know, things you can hang on the wall for parties and stuff. Okay, now this is a stack of probably 10 or 12. One is pretty flimsy, but I think that should be okay. I could technically glue a couple of them together to make it thicker, but I don't really see the point. So I'm not going to. If it doesn't work out, we have plenty of other ones to use as backups. So my intention is to put a pipe cleaner. We're going to flip this like so. And we're going to put one on each corner, basically. So I'm going to bend this just a tiny bit. I hope my glue gun's ready. Yeah. Since this is paper, I am going to try to be conscious of that when it comes to the glue gun. I actually should not have bent this before. Now it's being all rowdy. So I always like to push my pipe clean. I'm really pushing down on this plate. I need to chill out. I need to remember that it's a plate. Okay, I'm just pushing my pipe cleaner into the glue. And I got that stuck to my finger. Okay, I'm actually going to bend this up so it's out of my way. And I'm going to move fast with this because I really want the glue to dry quickly while we move on to our ribbon bundles. I generally will almost always come back when I'm attaching pipe cleaners to a sign and add that little bit of glue on top again, just to really encase the pipe cleaner in the glue. I don't know if it's necessary. I don't know if it does anything special, but it's what I do. So you do you. As long as your pipe cleaner stays on, then that was the right way to go about it. This one just completely gave up on me. All right, I'm sorry. I'm hustling through and I shouldn't. When you're using hot glue, it really does start to adhere very quickly. But it's not instantaneous. So a little patience is called for. Okay. I am my mother. I accidentally put my finger in it. Not too bad, but enough that it hurt. So like I said, I do also have a foam board that we could use instead. And glue this down to the foam board and then attach the foam board to the back of the wreath. That's another option, but I think this is going to work just as well. And if I'm wrong, we can do it afterwards. All right, last one. You guys So that first one that I glued down, it's already dry because it's cold in my basement. So these are going to dry real quick. But I am going to give them another couple seconds, and then I will put some glue on top, like I said. So I'm going to set this aside for a minute and let this harden a little bit before we come back and hit them a little bit more. And we're going to move on to working on ribbon bundles, which is the last piece of this puzzle that we're going to need. Where am I going to put you? Let me grab my ribbon. Okay, so I have a lot of options here. And the ones I'm debating between are these two gold ones, because this is a little bit cream with gold dots, whereas this is full gold, but it's sheer. And I feel like I'm going to stick with this one. So thank you for coming out. We appreciate it. So here's the plan for ribbon bundles. This is the ribbon bundle breakdown. We've got 4 different and complementary wire-edged ribbons. These are all 2.5 inches, but you can use whatever blows your hair back. I almost always, 99.99% of the time, use 2.5 inches because it's my preference. We're going to be using 4 pieces of ribbon per bundle, and we're going to need 6 ribbon bundles because we're going to put 1 in each section of our wreath. And we're going to cut each piece to 10 inches in length. The longer the length of the ribbon, the more that ribbon bundle is going to stick out from between the bubbles. I've done 12 inches before, I've done 14, and they will slap you across your face. So 10 is a pretty good number in my opinion. So that's what we're going to shoot for today. So all 4 of these guys, we're going to need to cut 6 of each color because we need 6 bundles, right? So I'll get my stuff here. How are you doing? Oh, you're running low? Still hot. I'm going to glue this down very, very, very soon. It's already almost completely. How are we doing? They actually are dry. You too? Yeah. Okay. I'm actually going to do this before we start the ribbon bundles. So I'm just going to hit it again right on top, right where we have the pipe cleaner, just a little bit more. Again, you don't need to do this. I don't actually know if it does anything, but it makes me feel better. Beautiful. I'm going to shut this off for a minute because it's going to take a while. All right. It's going to take a while to do our ribbon bundles, so I'm going to let my battery chill. Okay, so let's get started cutting these guys. I've never even used this before. I hope this one's not sheer. I'm not a fan of sheer ribbon. It's not what I'm trying to accomplish, you know? Ah, crap. You are kind of clear. I mean, transparent. That's all right. Okay. So we need 6 10-inch pieces. This is actually in good shape on the end, so I don't have to cut any off. If you do a lot of crafting, I highly recommend getting one of these rotary cutters. They're not expensive, I don't think. This one's a better one. I got it from Michael's with my 40% coupon because I don't pay full price at Michael's ever. But they also sell them at Dollar Tree. I have one around here somewhere. So you can totally pick one up for even more of a steal in their craft section. It's 4. This ribbon's being annoying. Dude. 3, 4, 5. One more. Very good. You. See you later. Thanks for coming out. Let's do the gold one next. Well, this one's got a janky end. Look at that. It's like somebody ate it. Bit it off with my teeth last time. Now, did I need to really cut that? No, because I'm going to fishtail or dovetail the ends of all of these because I really enjoy that look, and I will do that when I'm done cutting the lengths of all of them. But you don't need to. You can leave them, you know, cut flush like this, or you could do an angle if that's your cup of tea. So let's talk a little bit about ribbon now that we're doing this. I think I got all of these ribbons from Michaels, except for that silver one. Where is it? Where did I put you? Here. This is a Kirkland ribbon. It's wired from Costco Canada. I'm sure Costco US has it as well. If you ever have the opportunity, I definitely recommend picking up ribbon from Costco. They only have it seasonally, so it shows up at Christmas time, and whatever they launch at the beginning of the season is all they're going to have the whole season in terms of like how many colors and styles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more we need. But I highly recommend it. The Kirkland ribbons are fantastic. They're just a great quality. They're nice and thick and vibrant. And the wire's really good as well. But the price is such a steal. If I'm not mistaken, these big rolls are like $10. So I highly recommend if you find some that you like, that you pick them up from Costco because they're killer. But these ones, these other three that I'm using right now, these are from Michaels. This one in particular, I just picked up this year. This is going to be my first time using it, I think. And I got these on sale as well because what did I say earlier? I don't pay full price at Michaels. Okay? I don't do it. And at Christmas time, they always have a ribbon sale. So I wait around between like Black Friday and Boxing Day. They generally almost always have a ribbon sale of some kind. And this year did not disappoint. These big rolls, they were like buy one, get 3 free. And they're like, this one says 30. I think that one's $32 a roll. So they worked out to something like $8 a roll when you buy all 4. I was giggling. I was so happy about it. Having said that, it's just because they're nice big rolls and you can use them for a lot of projects. You can totally pick up wired ribbon at the dollar store. They have great seasonal ribbons now. They're really upping their game in the last few years. So I highly recommend picking up from your dollar store as well. It's a great option. They usually are 3 yards in a roll from the dollar store, if I'm not mistaken. So you might need like 2 or 3 to accomplish something like this. That's 3, 4. We need 2 more. So keep that in mind when you are picking up ribbon from the dollar store. If you find one you really like, try to see if you can get 3 instead of just 1 roll, or you'll probably regret it. 3, 4, 5. How many times am I going to count these? You're probably asking. A lot, because I'm also yapping in between, so my brain's not really retaining the number I keep counting. Okay, I really got to replace this blade. I've been saying that probably for the last 5 videos I've done. All right. Beautiful. Thank you as well. Off you go. And last is black glitter. Oh man, do I love this ribbon. I have used it in so many projects. It's so useful to have a contrasting color like this. I highly recommend if you ever come across a solid black ribbon like this one's glitter, or if you can find yourself felt or something, definitely pick it up. You'll find a million different ways to use it, especially if you're getting into wreath making. All right, we're coming up on the end here. Man, if you could just cut through it one time, I'd really appreciate it. Yeah, because I pressed down so hard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, one more. This is the last piece. Fail. Beautiful. I'm not going to need this anymore. Thank you for coming out as well. All right, don't need you. We're going to get started making these now. First, I'm going to fishtail or dovetail. I think those terms are interchangeable. I don't know. I'm just going to, I enjoy a dovetail on the bottom of my ribbon. I do it on every bow. I do it on all my bundles, but you don't need to do that. I'm going to show you how to do a dovetail. And it's super simple. All you're going to do is fold the ends together, just like that, holding those two ends towards you. Okay. And then you're going to fold it flat so you get a nice sharp edge. And we're going to take our scissors and cut at an angle. And however shallow or deep you cut is how deep or shallow the V of your dovetail is going to be. See? And I like them nice and deep like that. So I'm going to cut all of mine like that. You can totally bundle these together and cut 2 or 3 pieces of ribbon together if you have the hand strength. I don't. So I will cut them one by one. My apologies. I know it's more tedious, but it's that or hand cramps and tears. So no tears for Mary. Thank you. Yeah, but like, again, you don't need to do this. You could leave them straight edged, or you could cut on an angle just like that, right? This way. Sure. Whatever blows your hair back, whatever you like best. I'm gonna turn off my heater. I'm having a minor hot flash right now. It's not a real hot flash. You know when you're having a hot flash. It feels like somebody lit you on fire. But my temperature definitely just jumped a little bit. So, all right. All of you are ready to go. So this is why I enjoy crafting. I find this really calming. That's why one of the themes on my channel is craft your calm. It's what got me into crafting. I have a 9-to-5 job like everybody else, I'm sure. I'm actually very happy in my current 9-to-5 job. So I'm not talking about that. But several years ago, I want to say 2 jobs before this one, I worked for probably the first human I ever met that I could say was evil. I really worked for an evil, evil human being. And I wish him nothing but horror. That's horrible, but I don't care. I mean it. I hope everything horrible happens to him. But anyway, I worked for this evil, evil man. And My mental health took a huge dive. It was horrible. I was having such a hard time finding another job to leave that job. And I was crying driving to work. I was crying at work. I was crying coming home from work. It was hell on my mascara. And I needed something. I needed something to help me not ruminate on the horror that was my existence at that time until I could get out of there. And that's when I found dot painting, actually. It took a little while. I started with paint by numbers. I wanted something to occupy my hands. And I started listening to audiobooks and podcasts and keeping my brain occupied while my hands were occupied. And then I came across dot painting and I was like, okay. Because I can't freehand draw. I can't really paint, but I can make a dot. So I started dot painting and I fell in love with it. It's so fun. It's so calming. The repetition and the fact that I can make something beautiful and maybe lower my blood pressure a little bit and do something that occupies my time. It's a great hobby. It's a great way to give gifts to people. Who wouldn't love a beautiful handmade wreath or something dot painted or a hand poured candle? I mean, so there's a little bit of why Mary crafts her calm. That's the origin story of this YouTube channel. What made me start doing this was my rebellion against Satan incarnate. And it worked. It worked. I kept my mental health between my crafting and my husband and my friends. I managed to keep myself until I could get a new job and get out of there. And the passion of crafting never left. It stuck around, and it's been a beautiful, wonderful creative outlet for me for several years that I highly recommend, which is why I like doing this, because it really saved me at a time where I was feeling very lost. So it's nice to be able to show people. And maybe somebody will craft their calm too. I'd love to hear about it if you are. Well, that one didn't want to cut. Yeah, this is really transparent, eh? That's all right. Well, guys, we're almost there. Your patience is paying off. That's the other thing that crafting has really helped me with, which is patience. I mean, I have always struggled being patient. I think most people struggle being patient. Whether they're willing to admit it or not is a different story, but being patient is not an easy skill. So it's a muscle I like to flex as often as possible so that it helps me be patient in my personal life when being impatient would really backfire. Okay. We're almost there, guys. I really need to buy a better pair of scissors. Another thing I say a lot of. Oh, you know what? I can tell this is dead. Oh, no, it's not. Lies. Lies. We need that on now because we're going to start putting this wreath together very shortly. We are coming up on the end of these ribbon bundles. This was the longest part, was cutting the dovetail. And now we're going to put these bundles together and then we're going to add them to our wreath real quick. All right, let's clean up a little bit. I highly recommend always keeping your work area as clean as possible. Look what I just did by wiping the table. You probably can't even see that, but my hands are covered in glitter. Okay, we need to decide how we want these bundles to look and which pipe cleaners we're going to use. Now, we used what? Silver on this sign. So we're probably going to use gold for these ones. I'm going to have a little sip of water. Doing a lot of yippity yapping over here. So I'm probably going to use, we're going to be using one pipe cleaner per bundle. So we're going to need 6. 2, 4. Okay, that's good enough. All right. So, I want the gold to be on top. I think I want the 2 black colors on the bottom. So here's the theory I have in my head. We're going to crisscross these 2. And we're going to do the same with silver and gold. Okay? And then we will bundle. So we're going to do a little scrunch right here in the middle. Just like that. Okay? See? And now I'm going to take my pipe cleaner and bend it. Boop, just like that. And slide it in between. Now, to make sure we're in the middle of this, I'm going to actually fold these ribbons up and see if they are even, which they kind of look like to me. So I'd say this is in the middle. So I'm going to twist a couple times. And we just made our first ribbon bundle. Now we'll spread it out. So you can see each ribbon. All right. Beautiful. What do you think? You can see them all, right? And trust me, once we put them in the base and we fluff them out and all that, they're going to look beautiful. It's going to look great. So I like to do it this way, the crisscross applesauce. You could actually probably stack them one on top of the other as well. I've never done that personally, and I don't really want to do that tonight. So we're going to stick with crisscross. I should actually move the silver so that I don't accidentally put this wrong. Okay. So again, right in the center, I'm going to scrunch. And then we're going to bend our pipe cleaner and slide that in. And I'm going to check if I'm in the middle by flipping them up. I think the black one might be a little short. I'll just give that a little tug. Oh, you know what we never talked about is good side, bad side. I got to talk about that because that's super important because all of these have one. Let me just twist this off. Okay. So the other thing I want to make note of, yes, we want to use different pipe cleaner colors for each of the components. That's a super great tip. But you'll also notice that I made sure I wanted the gold on top, and I'm using my gold pipe cleaner, and you can't even see it because of the gold, you see? That's why I wanted to do that. Whereas if I used a black pipe cleaner, which I do have, you would really see that, and I'd have to put the black on top, which would still look great, but it's not what I had in mind. Okay, so really quickly, let's talk about good side, bad side. This is the good side of this ribbon. It's beautiful, it's vibrant. This is the bad side, okay? It is not vibrant in any way. There is not every ribbon is like this, but frankly, all of these ones are by some fluke today, except even the silver one is. So you always want to keep track of where your good side is when you're working with ribbon, because it's going to matter. And you always want it to be facing outward, whatever that outward is. If you're making a bow, you got to keep track of it. And right now you can see I have all of my good side facing up because that's how these bundles are going to be seen. I'm scrunching in the middle. Pipe cleaner. All right. Now let's see if we got the middle here. What do you think? I think so. So I'm going to leave it like that and give it a few twists. This is a great way, by making these kinds of bundles, you could totally make a wreath just out of ribbon bundles. I've done it before. It's beautiful. It's a great way to use really vibrant or seasonal ribbon. What did I do this with? I think it was a St. Patrick's Day wreath, if I'm not mistaken. Mary from the future will put that in the replay up here in the corner in case you want to watch that. Or you can find it on my channel. If you look up a ribbon wreath, I'm sure it'll pop up. All right. Guys, we are hustling right now. Hey. That's great. We've got 4 bundles right now. Almost done. Okay, my battery's flashing at me now. Beautiful. The last thing we want is our battery to die in the middle of gluing everything on. I would curse, and that would not go well. Crisscross applesauce. Hey, those of you watching, do you guys remember Crisscross? That, I think they were brothers. What year was that? It had to have been the 90s, sometime in the 90s. I'm going to spare you. I won't sing it. But I just want to say I would do a pretty good job if I did do it. If I sang you a little crisscross. Because they're going to make you jump. Okay. Beautiful. One more. Criss, cross, apple, sauce. Beautiful. We scrunch. I feel like this silver one is definitely not in the middle. And this gold one too. That looks good to me. Oh, you're folded funny. Okay, fold up. All right. We are officially in the home stretch. It's time to put it all together. We have our ribbon bundles ready. We have our base wreath ready, and we have our sign ready as well. It's nice and dry now. So we are ready to put all of these components together. So let's get started doing that. I'm going to move all these tools out of the way that we don't need anymore. Another quick sip of water. It's really weird to not what's the word I want? Narrate what I'm doing over here. I'm gonna have a sip of water. All right. Now we have our big full base and we have all of our ribbon bundles. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna put a ribbon bundle in each section of our wreath. So let's have a look at that again. So there's 6 sections and we're gonna aim for the center of each section to put our ribbon bundle in. Now, to be fair or to be clear, that means they're going to be right on a bubble because of the way this works. You can't really go in between your pipe cleaners. The pipe cleaner is the space where you've gathered your deco mesh and tied it to the wreath. So that's the in-between bubble, right? Which is where we want to put our ribbon bundle. But it won't be quite in the middle because of it, okay? So keep that in mind. It's not a big deal. No one's going to know that you're not right in the middle. So we're going to start. Okay, this is a crossbar. So 1, 2, 1, 2. I'm going to go right here. That's my center of my 2 bubbles. And I'm just going to thread this through and pull it. And I'm going to give it just 1 or 2 quick twists because we might want to move the position of this later. All right. Trust the process. Did I drop one of my ribbon bundles? No, I didn't. Okay, so we're looking again. So we did those two. So where's my crossbar? Right here. So 1, 2, here's the middle. The reason why I make a point of looking for the middle of the section to tie the ribbon bundle is because it's really easy to lose balance in your wreath if you don't look at things like that. Like, what's the center of the section? Or, you know, I try to keep things as balanced as possible without stressing too much. 1 bubble 2. There's the center. Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2. This one's awkward because we're at an end piece over here where we ended some deco mesh. So that's a big section there. One, two, 1, 2. So something I want to mention as we're in this in-between phase right now, where we're putting together all the components, but they're not together yet. And it kind of looks nice, but it kind of looks weird all at the same time. Trust the process. We're gonna keep fluffing and adjusting and moving things around right up until the end. And by the time we get there, it's gonna look like a really polished, complete wreath. So don't stress in this in-between where it's kind of crazy. All right. We've got our last bundle in place. So now let's have a look at positioning. Does it seem even to you? Do they all seem like they're in the middle of a quadrant? It looks even to me. So that's all we really wanted to accomplish. Now, I'm going to spread these out just to get a sense of them. But like I said, at the end is when we're going to fluff everything and really, you know, oh, now I see it. Now I can see every piece of ribbon. Okay. So next we're going to attach the sign. Okay. Okay, beautiful. I'm happy with that. Let's attach our sign now. Let me grab it. And hold on. Where did you go? Come here. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to fold all of these pipe cleaners up so that they're all sticking straight up. And we can see just how not centered I glued them down. Look how much longer this one is. Jeez. Oh, well. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to attach these pipe cleaners to the inner ring of our wreath base, which you can't see from this side, but it's going to be this guy here, okay? And now you can see why I was making such a big fuss about using different pipe cleaners, because now we've got the white, which we know apply to the deco mesh. We've got the gold, which we know apply to the ribbon bundles. And now we're going to have the silver that's going to be visible which is our sign / paper plate. So I'm going to tuck all of these right in the center, just like that. Oh, that's going to look so cute. And we're going to flip it. And this is going to be the lightest twist. Okay, it's just to make sure that it's on the frame. We will tighten everything when we're happy with the position of everything. And by tighten, that doesn't mean that I'm going to yank it up and pull the plate in. I don't want to do that. I just mean I'm going to secure. Oh, wow, this one was really a mistake. Hey, Mary, you did that one silly. I might actually have to attach a pipe cleaner to this pipe cleaner because I did such a poor job of finding the center point. That's okay. I got it to twist. That's all we need. All right. Okay, let's see. Cute. I love it. So do we want to smush this down a little bit, or do you want it to sit on the top of the bubbles, do you think? I feel like I like the way it's sitting on the top. I don't want to go any further down. I think that's good the way it is. All right. So cute. All right, we're going to adjust all the ribbons after. Now what we're going to do is decide how we want to dress this up, if at all. You could totally stop at this stage if you're happy with the way this looks. I'm very happy with the way it looks, but I want to add a few things to it. So what we're going to do is I bought these plastic champagne glasses from, I think I got these from Dollarama. I'm not sure how we're going to use these, but I'd like to because I think they're so pretty. For plastic champagne glasses, they're really attractive for plastic. Look at that. That's a pretty flute, right? I don't know. Do we want to do that? Do we want to cross them? That looks pretty cool. Frankly, I don't know how we're going to actually attach these. One here. I feel like crisscross looks good. Like that. Okay. There's no way that I'm going to be able to do this without tying them together. So I'm going to try tying them with a gold pipe cleaner. Because even if I try to glue them together, they're not going to stay. They're going to be too heavy. It won't. So let's see. So I hope if nothing else you get from this live today is that a wreath comes together. You can have a plan, but in the end, you kind of try whatever. And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. It's not the end of the world. It's just a wreath. Let's see. I think I could make this work. I just need to really tighten this. And then I'm going to attach pipe cleaners to it. Then we're going to also glue it directly onto the bubbles. This is, I'd like to see if I can tie it down with a pipe cleaner. Now, unfortunately, I'm breaking my pipe cleaner rule now because of this, because I'm going to be using gold on two things, the bundles and this, but that's assuming this even works. We'll see. Okay. Okay, I like where it is. How am I going to cover these pipe cleaners though? Oh, did you already thread your way through? Wow. Didn't expect that. Okay. Hey, hey. Get it together. Okay. What do you think? Do you like it? I'm going to leave it for now because I'm feeling it. We're going to see. If in the end I don't like it, I'll take it out. But I feel like it's cute. I'd like to get it a little closer to the middle. Like that. What do you think? I like it. Okay, I'm going to leave that there. We're going to add, we've got some gold and silver ornaments. We've got, this is glass filler. I like to include it on a lot of projects because it's actually really pretty and useful. And I've got some white snowflakes, which I think are, like, I'm from Canada, so it's almost always snowy on New Year's for us. So to me, snowflakes definitely resonate. Now, in terms of these ornaments, I'm going to tuck a few of them here and there. I generally almost always will put an ornament on the inside of one of these ribbon bundles. I may or may not do that today. We'll see. We shall see. Oh, I have a runner. We're going to decide what we want as we go. So, where am I? Here. I've got some wire cutters, which are really helpful when you're cutting off these. Let's see how my glue gun's doing. Oh, she's toasty. Okay. All right. So first we got to decide, are we going to put a ball inside each one? And I think yes. And since I have a lot of these gold ones, I think I'm going to go ahead and put one there. Although I guess I could use these little ones now that we're talking about it. Let's see. Oh, I think I might use a little teeny tiny guy. I think these are cute. Okay, so we're going to use these cute little guys for the inside of the ribbon bundles. So I need 6. I like that. Now, the only downside to a bubble wreath, like you can see the volume is where you really get like the bang for your buck in terms of the deco mesh. But the downside to that is that it's harder to place these little things. You're either going to be placing them between a bubble like this. So for example, we could put this ball here in between the bubble and that'll look really great because if you try to glue it directly on top of the bubble, you could, but then you'd see the glue. Like for sure, you'd see the glue, which is fine. It's totally up to you, your preference. But I would prefer to not see the glue if I can avoid it. So my intention is to put these balls in between the bubbles. Let me move you out of the way for a second and we'll deal with these first. So I always cut the neck off of all of my ornaments because I'm a savage. No, it's because you want the ornament to be able to sit flat, and it won't be able to with that neck. Now I can put it nice and flat without cutting. So I never keep the necks on my ornaments ever. Oh man, but a warning, if you're going to do this using anything, whether it's a pair of scissors or wire cutters like I'm using, watch your eyeballs, because some of them disintegrate like that one did, and others are trying to murder you with the violence that they pop off and how far they go. I found pieces of ornament like halfway across the room. Jeez, that one ricocheted. Did you hear it bounce? Ooh. Now, when you cut off the neck of these things, it is possible that you'll break the ornament apart because you're cutting it right on, oh, geez, right on the seam. So it wouldn't be unusual for them to break apart. I've done it more than once before. 2, 4, okay, I'm happy with that. I think, wait, let me count. I didn't actually count. I kind of pretended to count, but I didn't. 2, 4, 6, 7, okay. 2, 4, 6. Okay, we have quite a few silver. We'll do actually, I don't know how many I'm going to need, so I'm going to stop cutting. If I need more, I will cut more. First, let's just tidy this up a wee bit because it's very messy over here right now. The carnage. I told you I was a savage. Okay. Can you hear how full my garbage can is? Okay, here we go. We got our ornaments ready. Everybody roll over here. Stay. Okay. So I'm going to bust out my finger protectors because putting things between bubbles is a recipe for burns on my hands. If you don't have finger protectors, I highly recommend that you buy them. I got these at Dollar Tree. Buy them, buy a lot of them, give them to your friends, show them you care, because it is a life-saving device, let me tell you. Okay, so I am going to add the little mini glass filler gold balls into the center of these ribbon bundles now. There's two options here. You can put a little dot on the actual ball and then tuck it quickly, which I think is what I'm going to do. But the safer thing to do would be to put that drop of glue down onto the bundle and then put the ball on top. That's the easiest way to protect your fingers. All right. Hot glue is very, very hot. So please, please be cautious when you work with it. I burn myself very frequently. It takes weeks to recover. 0 stars, do not recommend. But it also dries fairly quickly and adheres pretty quickly. Now, obviously, gravity is going to play a part, and the glue is only going to dry as fast as it's going to dry. But generally speaking, like me holding these down for a few seconds is sufficient because they're not fighting gravity because they're tucked into this ribbon bundle. But the ones that we're going to put in between the bubbles, these bigger ones, they're going to be a test in patience because we're going to need to hold them in place for a lot longer to make sure that they don't fall apart or fall out completely. I want you to go over here. Nice. All right. Where's there another one? I have so much glitter on my hands right now. All right. Beautiful. This last one's going to be a challenge because of these glasses that are flopping around still. I have to decide if I want to try to glue the glass down or not. I might not need to. We'll see. Well, let's try to get this ribbon under control at least. That looks good. I am pleased with this. Okay, I have one more. Yeah. So you see, remember, we cut this to 10 inches, these ribbon pieces, right? And you see how they stick out? Like you get quite a lot of ribbon visible, even though they're being pushed together by the bubbles, you're still getting that pop of color, right? So if you were to have made these 12 inches long, you can see how it would stick out even more. So if that's the vibe you're going for, definitely cut a little longer. And keep in mind that the fishtail does kind of feel like you're losing length. You're not really, but it kind of feels like you are. Okay. Beautiful. So let's put a couple of these balls in now. Generally speaking, when I'm laying out a wreath, I try to put everything in place first before gluing anything down because it will help. I mean, it's not always easy to let them stay, but it'll help you get a sense of what you want it to look like and if what you're planning is going to work or not. I think I'm just going to try to find a way to do one silver ball and one gold ball in each section. Probably like almost side by side. And you know what we'll do is we'll alternate. So silver, gold, and then we've got silver here and gold here. Yeah, I like that. Okay, let's get started. We know what we want to do. I'm going to need, wait, and I'll probably put one snowflake in each section as well. We'll see. So my plan is to put glue on either side of the ornament, plop it in between two bubbles, and then push them together with my finger protectors to hold the deco mesh around the side of the ornaments. This is where it's going to take some time and it's going to be a little, like, you need to be patient for this part because if I let go before the hot glue adheres, the ball's just going to roll out, right? So how am I going to hold this so I don't burn myself? That's the way. Okay. A little bit on this side, a little bit on this side, straight in between the bubbles, just like that, and smush with my fingers. So you can see that, yeah, you can see a lot of this base wreath still. And we used all white for the base. So if I had chosen to use white and black or white and gold, it would have been a very different look to the base, right? But I really wanted that white because I wanted the plate to pop. And I feel like we really accomplished that here. But that's something to keep in mind when you're making a wreath with this bubble method. Like I mentioned, the one that you have across the top is going to be the most dominant. If we had done white across the top and say black and gold on the bottom, that would have looked completely different. So lots of options. Yeah, I'm going to have to glue those down. They're just going to flop around. They're too heavy. Okay. Are you good? It's not fully dry, but it's dry enough. So where am I going to put this one here? Yeah, I think so. So same thing. I'm going to hold the sides. One dot, quickly between the bubbles. All right. I actually kind of like the champagne glass over the sign a little bit. I'm going to have to decide because I'll have to, I don't want to glue the glass down because it'll melt it most likely. The hot glue is seriously hot. I'm going to try to put some glue under the hand. Yeah, the handles, I guess. How you doing? You okay? I don't know that I like them just separated by one bubble. I might separate them by 2 bubbles on this one. We'll see. Yeah, so silver in this time and gold on the outside. Ooh, be faster. You're not wearing a finger protector on that finger, lady. This one is really important for finger protectors because the Deco mesh is it's a mesh. So it's all holes and you're definitely going to burn your pretty little fingertips off if you're not careful. So remember when we first started this and we were making the base of the wreath and I told you not to worry about what you attach the bubbles, like the Deco mesh bubbles, how you attach them to your base wreath, whether you were using zip ties or pipe cleaners, that you didn't have to worry about cutting it because you would never see them in between. You see what I mean? There's no way you're going to see that pipe cleaner now. No way. Okay, this one we're going to put here. Fast, fast, fast. Got it. You okay for me to let go? You're not going to roll away? Now, what's funny is the gold balls that I have are a different gold than, wait, what did I use here? I used the matte there, a glitter here. So we'll use a shiny silver here. This is warped, this one. That's okay. Doesn't matter if it's warped, it'll do its job. Okay. What was I saying? Yeah, the gold. This gold ball is a very different color than the gold of the glass filler that we used on the inside of each of the bundles. And the reason I decided to do that, I don't normally mix my golds. I don't know why it bothers me, but it does. But the reason I decided to do that for this wreath is because the little glass vase filler gold balls that we put inside match the ribbon perfectly. So they're, and I'm not putting them anywhere else. So having these as like an accent gold is perfectly fine. We are just under 2 hours from beginning this live, and we have a almost complete wreath. You could totally stop at any point in this process and have a beautiful wreath to put up on your front door or to gift to somebody to do that. All right, we need another. So here we need a gold. You're being a jerk. This guy's being a jerk, guys. Being a jerko. It's okay. Everything's fine. No, you need to dry a little more. Or this one's going to go rolling off for sure because it's right on the edge. I'm going to actually move on, but hold on to this at the same time. Okay. I'm going to give that. Oh, we got to do silver still. What did I do last year? Glitter. I mean, no, what's it called? Shiny. So we're going to do matte. Okay. I feel fairly confident that that's not going to roll off now. Again, it's just until that bit of hot glue hardens, you know? And it does very quickly. That one actually is going to stay because it's really cradled by these bubbles. So I'm going to leave it and move on. We're almost done. I have a gold one tucked over here. So gold needs to go on the inside here. I think we're on glitter now. Yeah. If you're just joining us, we are making a New Year's Bubble Deco Mesh Wreath. We're just about finished. Just adding some finishing touches. I'd love to know where you're watching from. If you let me know in the chat. The other day, a viewer commented on one of my videos. I think she said she was from England or something, somewhere in the UK, and I just about passed out. I was like, get out of here. Oh, man. I mean, I know the internet is, global and everything, but sometimes you forget that it's not just people in my own country that can see what I'm doing. It's pretty cool. The internet is pretty cool. It's also terrifying, but it's pretty cool. Should I put it there or here? I think I want to put it there. Why did I take all my finger protectors off? Oh, get in there. Oh, I need another finger protector. It's going to be a challenge putting the ones in this quadrant over here where the glasses are. Okay. So now we want, hey, come back here. We want a gold like here or here. I think I'm gonna put it here. Which silver do we want now? We have glitter. What's after glitter? Is it shiny? I think so. I think I'll put that over here. This one's right on the edge, so I got to make sure I hold on to it, or it could really roll off. I got to give it a couple seconds for that glue to really dry a little bit. Are you okay? I think we're okay. So this one, we're going to put here. This is our last ornament ball. Then we're going to do a little bit of the little snowflakes that I have, because I think that'll look cute. Oh, this one doesn't even need me to hold it. The bubbles are holding it. Beauty. All right. What do you think? I think it looks so cute. I'm really happy with that. Now, these glasses are questionable, okay? You could leave them on. They could be glued down. I would totally try to glue the handle versus the glass part, which is not glass. The whole thing is plastic. And that's what's making me hesitate on gluing it down, because it doesn't take much. These heat guns are super hot, and it really doesn't take much to melt the glue or melt the plastic, and I really don't want to deal with that. So I'm going to leave mine just tied on. But if you want to, feel free. I'm just going to scatter a few of these around. Because they're white and we're white on white, you'll see them, but you won't see them. They're kind of going to blend a little bit. And depending on where you are in the world right now, for example, if you're in Australia, you're not having any snow. I don't think so. So maybe you could put something else. That's always a fun thing to think about, how different Christmas is to everybody across the world. New Year's is super cool when you think about it, because everybody enters the new year at a different time, which is crazy. So we could add anything else to this, like the sky's the limit. It's a personal preference thing. What do you want? What do you think is going to look good? Do you have, man, I don't even know. I was trying to think what would look good for like a New Year's inspired project like this. And other than ornaments, which I like to put these ball ornaments on all of my wreaths. I don't care what time of year it is. It doesn't have to be Christmas time to use these ornaments. You'll see that I use them all year round because I love them. They're a great pop of color. It's a great way to add a little bit of personality, especially when you're starting with a monochromatic base like we did with all white. It's like a completely open palette. You can do whatever you want. I think I'm going to do a few more. We'll see. I'm definitely going to do one for each section. And then we're going to have a look and decide. So these snowflakes are easy to glue on top of the bubble. Not a problem at all. It's the balls that you got to be careful about because you're not going to see the glue on these, but you would see them on the balls for sure. Where will I put this one? Down here? Yeah, that's a great place for it. So what do you guys think of my first New Year's wreath? I've never made a wreath for New Year's before. What do you think? Did it come out great? What do you think? Should I put some more snowflakes or are we good with just one per section? I like it. I feel like I don't want to add anything else. We have a perfect scattering. So how do you know when you're done making a wreath? Does anybody know? I'll tell you how you know. We're done. That's how I know. I've decided we're done. I'm happy with this. I feel like there's nothing else I would want to add. It's doing all the things I wanted it to do. So we are going to prepare to hang this beautiful big wreath with some jute cord. So I'm going to make it pretty long. Where are my scissors? They all disappeared. Here we go. So I'm cutting a nice long length of jute cord. Okay. And we're going to do what I call a slip knot. I'm not actually sure if it is a slip knot, but that's what I call it. So I'm going to put the ends together just like that. Okay. Then we're going to wrap it around my index finger and pull that loop off. Okay. And then tuck the tails into and out the other side of that loop. And then we have a nice little slip knot just like that. Beautiful. So now I'm going to loop this. I'm going to flip this over so you can see, which means my champagne glasses just moved. And also we haven't completed the back of the wreath. So this is the time we're going to do all of that at the same time. So remember that we put our ribbon bundles as well as these for the sign. We only did a couple of twists. So now's the time to do a few more if you're compulsive like me. And if you're not, you can leave them with what you've already twisted because a couple of twists is fine. And we're going to cut off the ends. Again, scissors would work just as well. So if you don't have wire cutters, nothing to be concerned about. So a lot of wreath makers, some people really care about what the back of the wreath looks like. Which way are we going? This way? In which case, some creators will maybe get a piece of felt that is the same size as the back and cut it out and glue it to the back. You can do that if it blows your hair back. Or if you're choosing to sell or gift your wreath, you might feel like you want to do that. By all means, go for it. I don't think it's necessary. Oh, I'm opening it. I'm turning the wrong way. These are my champagne glasses, this long one here. I'm actually going to leave this a little longer and bend it down. Okay. I'm untwisting. I think I'm untwisting this one too. Yeah. Okay, now I'm going to slide the loop that we just made in. I believe the top is right here where this silver pipe cleaner is. It doesn't actually matter because we're going to make sure that it's within this quadrant here where these crossbars are. This is going to slide around in that section. So it doesn't really matter if it's quite middle. We just need to have the right section of the back of the wreath. And I'm confident that we do here. So I'm going to slide this through. Okay. And then we're going to take the knot and put it through the loop that we have over here, just like that. Okay. And slide it out. And there we go. So now this will slide freely from one end to the other, which will make it a lot easier when you hang your wreath to adjust until you're level. All right, let's clear this out. And we're going to flip this beauty over. Woohoo! Let me get that loop now. There it is. What do you think? What do you think of our first New Year wreath? I think it came out great. I'm super pleased with this. I love using the bubble method. You get such a full base wreath. It's very beginner friendly. Once you get the handle of making the bubble, it's super quick. I think it took, if I'm not mistaken, 35 minutes or so to make this base. And then we just spent all this time filling it in and making it our own. So I really enjoyed making this wreath with you tonight. I hope you enjoyed making it with me as well. I make a ton of beginner-friendly projects on my channel. I'll be here every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the foreseeable future, making wreaths. Next week, we'll be in the Sweetheart Season series. So look forward to a Valentine's Day themed wreath next Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope you join me. It's going to be super fun. If you're interested in learning more about wreath making, I have a ton of videos on my channel. Some like these long form lives where I talk and talk until you want to kill yourself. And there's also the ones that are shorter. They're like 10 to 15 minutes with just voiceovers. I'm not saying I don't talk throughout those ones too, because I do. I never stop talking, but not as much as these lives, that's for sure. So if you're interested in learning more about wreath making, check out one of those videos. And don't forget to subscribe so that we can continue to get crafty together. Toodaloo and Happy New Year.